which is like my particular story is mostly that of good fortune. But I know a lot of people out here who are trying to do something creative, and I can tell for certain what you can't do, which is get trapped by money. And that's what you see all the time, is somebody gets a job, ends up getting a promotion, and next thing you know, they're not even trying for that creative thing that they came out here for, because the idea of taking a step back, of not living the lifestyle that they're living right now is just so threatening. And I think that you see a lot of people who they get older and older, and every day are like, this isn't ever what I wanted to do. And the further you get away from it, the harder.
That's actually kind of my story a little bit, in that I was writing so many scripts about 2 days of the dance that I couldn't do it anymore. So it was just like another story about friendship jealousy, or oh no, I've forsaken my best friend for this guy I have a crush on. I just couldn't tell those stories anymore, so I had to sort of step back from that and try something new. And so that's why I decided to make the leap to live action and writing for adults.
And then there was a question here.
I was just wondering if you had any changes in your writing style or your approach after the very first time you saw something that you wrote come to life.
Question about changing your mind about your writing.
We learned to trust the cast a lot. I think one of the biggest things is certain actors, have certain strengths, and you can, like for example with Matt, you can cut half the lines because he'll sell it with a look. And same with Tim. And Willie will always take your lines and make them funnier. He'll walk up and be like, I know what you were trying to do. This is how it would work. And you're like, well, yeah, that's sometimes better. I don't want to give him too much credit, because then he'll start rewriting even more.
I think one of the things that I felt when I watched my very first episode of television air, when I saw the cuts of it, is it's a fine line between being subtle and being and missing it. And so I think if you have great actors, which we're lucky to have, you can play on the subtlety more. But if you don't, and this is kind of a lesson to knowing who you're writing for, it's writing to their strengths, and also knowing your audience, and putting your personal taste as a writer aside, maybe for the sake of a clear story. And so sometimes you may feel like you're being expositional or obvious, but in many ways the audience needs that to understand what you're trying to say. So that was one of the wake-up calls I had, was, aren't you being, you're being clever, but maybe it's not clear. So
we have some questions from the forum.
We have questions from the forum. Cool.
If I'll ask them if you guys want to answer.
All right, so this is from